Hello, class 6. So, today we are going to begin a new chapter, chapter number 10, motion and measurement of distance. Yes, motion and measurement of distance. So, in this chapter, we are going to study about the different kind of motion. Yes, and like periodic motion, circular motion, oscillatory motion, rectilinear motion. Yes, there are different types of motion. And class 6, let me tell you one more thing, that in 7th class you will again study this chapter. Yes, in 7th class you will study this chapter again. Okay, you will study these topic again. So you should be ready. Okay, this chapter is very easy. Okay, it's a not difficult chapter. And uh, this chapter is also in 7th class, and when you will go in a higher class, and if you choose science as a subject, then you will have to study it in detail. Yes, so in this chapter is given just to clear your basic. Yes, if your basic is clear, then you can easily understand all the topic, or when you will study in higher class. Okay, you can easily understand. So, and apart from these, we will study about the measurement. Yes, how to measure any distance, and why do we use measurement? Why should, and we will see what is the meaning of unit. And when we will also, I will tell you something in advance also, like I will tell you about MKS system, CGS system, FPS system. Well, these three system, MKS, CGS, FPS, these are not given in your book, but in your book SI system is given. Only one system is given, but only one system is given in your book, which is a modern system of measurement. And but there are three other system of measurement: MKS system, CGS system, FPS system. So we'll also study about them, I will tell you. And some extra unit also I will tell you, that you will study in a higher class, but I will tell you, because I want to give you some knowledge. Yes, because this chapter is very easy. This chapter is very easy. Yes, so you will not get bored from this chapter. So again, without wasting time, let's see the intro of the chapter. Okay, let's mm, begin with the introduction of the chapter. So let's move on the next point. Okay, so let's see the introduction. Okay, so first of all, let's see what is the meaning of motion. Yes, what is motion? Yes, what is motion? So motion is actually, motion means changing in position of an object with respect to time. Motion means changing in position of an object with respect to time. For example, what is the meaning of this definition? This definition means position should change. You should not be sit at one position, at one place. Your position should be changed with time. Yes, as the time pass, your position is changing. It means you are in motion. For example, right now I am sitting. For example, right now I am sitting. But if I start, if I stand up and start walking, it means what is happening? I am I have started walking, so I have changed my position. I have changed my position. So definitely sure that when I will walk, I will travel some distance. Yes, when I will stand up from my seat and I will walk, then I must travel some distance, like 10 meter, 20 meter, maybe 15, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, any distance. So what is happening? Position is changing with respect to time, because when I will stand and walk, suppose I walk 50 meter, okay, then may be possible that walking 50 meter may take 10 second, 20 second, 30 second, yes. So that is the meaning of motion. Motion means changing in position of an object with respect to time. So as you can see in the picture, a boy is throwing a ball. A boy is throwing a ball. So the ball is in his hand. The ball is in his hand. So when the ball is in his hand, the ball is at the rest, yes. So when it will throw, when the boy will throw, it will start moving, yes. Now the ball is in motion, so it will travel some distance, it will go 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter, then after then it will again come to the rest. So what is happening, the position of the ball is changing, because the ball is going from one place to another place, yes. So motion is means changing in position, means going from one position to another, yes. You can see a girl is standing, but if she walk, then it will travel some distance, yes. And you can see the picture of a butterfly. So butterfly also fly. When the butterfly flies, then it travels some distance, it goes from one position to another. So what is happening, the position is changing, the position is changing. So motion means changing in position of an object with respect to time, changing in position of an object with respect to time, okay. And kids, let's talk about rest. What is the actually meaning of rest in terms of physics? And let me tell you, but before it, let me tell you one more definition of motion. Let me tell you one more definition of motion. First definition is on the screen. As you can see, motion is changing in position of an object with respect to time, yes. Second definition, a body is said to be in a state of motion if it changes its position, yes. A body is said to be in a state of motion if it change its position continuously with respect to its surrounding with the passage of time, yes. This is also the definition, but it is little bit tough, difficult definition, so you no need to learn, okay. You learn only the definition which is on the screen, okay. Learn only that definition. So suppose a book is you have put a book on a table, on a table. So what is the state of that book in terms of motion? We can say that the book is at rest, yes, because its position is not changing. When the bus move, when the birds fly, their position change, so they are in the motion. So if a bus is standing at place, then we can say it is in the rest. So a body is said to be at rest. A body is said to be at rest if it does not change its position continuously with respect to time, yes, with the passage of time. So so right now I am sitting at one place. So I am not doing motion, means I am in the state of rest. Okay. So kids, let me tell you that rest and motion, they are relative, yes. Not absolute. They are relative, not absolute. What is the meaning of relative and what is the meaning of absolute? Let's find out. Let's move on the next point. So kids, as you can see on the screen, rest and motion are relative term. Yes, they are relative term. What is the meaning of relative? Something that is dependent on other thing. Yes, something that is dependent on other thing. Yes, if something is depending on other, then we can say rest and relative are rest and motion are relative. Yes, If what is the meaning of relative? Relative means something that depend on other, something that depend on other. Then we can say rest and motion are relative. So what is the, for example, let me give you a simple example. Suppose a passenger sitting in a moving bus. Okay, suppose a passenger is sitting in a moving bus and is at rest, and it is at rest. Yes, because the passenger is not changing its position. Yes, because the position is not changing its position with respect to other passenger. Is other passenger are also in one place, they are not, but the bus is moving, but the bus is moving. Yes, so for observer, for observer, the bus is moving. Okay, so but to an observer outside the bus, who is outside the bus, the observer can say that the passenger and the object inside the bus are in motion. The observer which is standing outside, that can say that passenger are in a motion and the bus is also in a motion, but the passenger can say they are that they are not in motion, only bus is in motion. So we can say they are relative term. Yes, they are related to each other, they depend upon other things. Yes, something that depend on other. Yes, for the observer which is outside, for him passenger are moving, but inside, for the passenger, if we talk about the inside passenger, and they can say for the observer, they can also say for the observer that observer is also moving, but actually the observer in standing position, and for the observer the passenger are also in standing position. Yes, isn't it special that when you are sitting in a bus, you watch out that you watch out outside that the trees are moving behind. Yes, trees are going behind, but are they really going behind? No, they are at rest, they are at rest. Actually you are also at rest, but the bus in motion. So we can say rest and motion are relative terms. Yes, okay. If you are standing outside, you can say that the bus is moving and passenger also moving, but passenger are still at the rest position. Yes, so they depend on other thing. Okay, so relative, something that depend on other thing. And what is the meaning of absolute? Absolute means something that does not depend on anything else. Yes, if something that does not depend on anything else, then we can say, that's why we can say that rest and motion are not absolute, because rest and motion are relative. Why rest and motion are relative? Because it depend on other thing. Yes, okay. I hope you understood the meaning of absolute and relative. Okay. Now, kids, let's talk about the history of motion. Yes, it's time to study about the history of motion. Let's move on the next point. So, kids, history of motion. Let's talk about the history of motion. Well, history of motion is it's very old. In old time, uh, people actually had no idea about the motion, about the traveling. Yes, history of traveling, they had no idea. Then because the people lived in the forest. Yes, the people lived in the forest, even they don't wear the clothes. Yes, then they learned about how to make the clothes. Then first time they made wheels. First time they made a wheels of wood. Yes, they made wooden wheel, and they started, then they make bullock cart, then they slowly made a boat. Slowly, as their mind brain developed, they made a boat which can um, float on the water. So they started traveling from one place to another. It happened all in 3500 BC. Yes, before Christ. And then when they started rearing the animals, so they started using horses, yes, bull, and camel for. So they started using the horses they use for traveling purpose. You might have seen the old movies that even for the war people used the horses for traveling. It happened in 2000 BC, yes. Then hot air balloon was made after many years in 1783 AD. In 1783 AD, hot air balloon was made. Then people started making big ship in 1787. Then after a long time, bicycle was made. Yes, bicycle was made. When was the bicycle made? The bicycle was made in 1790. Yes, the bicycle was made in 1790. Then for then the first car was made in 1801. They made an engine car so people can easily travel, which is actually a steam locomotive. Okay. And then a well developed car was made in 1862. Well developed car was made in 1862. Okay, so the history of transportation is very long. Yes, nowadays, kids, we use uh, for traveling aeroplane. Yes, so aeroplane was made in 1903. Yes, we also use bike also made in 1867. Okay, so you no need to remember all these date. Okay, kids, you no need to memorize all these date. Okay, if you want to memorize, you can memorize that when was hot air balloon was made in 1783, and when was bicycle was made in 1790. Okay, in 1790, and in 1860, and in 1801 steam locomotive car was made, and in 1903 Wright brothers made aeroplane. Yes, and bike was made before aeroplane 1867. Yes, after car, after bicycle, that bicycle was made in 1790. Then after I think 77 years later, the bicycle was made in 1867. Then after around 50 years, I think about 40 50 years, after about 40 50 years, aeroplane was made in 1903. Then in 1969, what happened? What happened in 1969 on 20 July, I think. So first mission on the moon was launched. Yes, first rocket, scientists went um, on the moon. Yes, they put the first step on the moon. Okay, and the first space shuttle also launched in 1981. So the history was very long. Nowadays we have different different uh, bike, car. We have completely developed. We have the modern mobile. We Everything is developed. Just pressing the one button, you can switch on fan. You can using just remote control. You can Everything is in your control, in just one hand, in just one remote. Yes, so nowadays we have developed. Okay, kids, I hope you understood. Now, kids, let's talk about the type of motion. Yes, let's move on the next point. Okay, kids, types of motion. Well, as you can see on the screen, there are two type of motion. Yes, there are two types of motion. translatory motion, translatory motion and circular motion. Yes, translatory motion and circular motion. Okay, well, kids, translatory motion can be divided into two parts. Yes, there are two type of translatory motion. There are two types of translatory motion: rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion. Yes, rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion. In the same way, circular motion can also be categorized. Yes, there are also two type of circular motion. Okay, there are two types of circular motion: revolution and rotatory motion. Revolution and rotatory motion. Revolution and rotatory motion. Okay, so these are the type. So how many types of translatory motion? Check out the spelling of translatory motion, kids. Translatory, translatory motion. So there are two type of translatory motion: rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion. What is the spelling of rectilinear motion? What is the spelling of rectilinear motion? Rectilinear. Rectilinear, rectilinear, motion. What is the spelling of curvilinear motion? Curvilinear, curvilinear motion. Curvilinear, curvilinear motion. And you know that circular motion can also be divided into two type: revolution and rotatory motion. So what is the spelling of revolution? Revolution, the spelling of revolution is revolution. 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 And rotatory motion, the spelling of rotatory is rotatory. Yes, rotatory, rotatory motion. Okay, I hope you understood. Now let's move on the next point. Okay, let's talk about the translatory motion. Translatory motion. So the motion in which all points of a moving body move uniformly. Yes, the motion in which all points of a moving body is move uniformly along a straight line is called translatory motion. Yes. So in translatory motion, what happens, kids? In translatory motion, what happens, kids? If something is moving, it should move uniformly. If something is moving or anything is traveling, it should travel or it should move equally, uniformly. Means what? It means it should travel equal distance in equal interval of time. It should travel equal distance in equal interval of time. That is the meaning. So what is translatory motion? The motion in which all points of a moving body move uniformly along a straight line is called translatory motion. As you can see that the car is moving and the bicycle is moving. They are moving in a straight line and uniformly moving, means the equal distance they are traveling in equal interval of time. As you can see, the apple is falling from the tree, which is coming straight, that is actually a translatory motion. I hope you understood, and you know that there are two type of translatory motion. Now let's move on the next point. Okay, it's time to ask question from you. Question number 1: what is motion? Yes, what is motion? Write its type. So motion is changing in position of an object with respect to time. Yes, motion is defined as changing in position of an object with respect to time. There are two type of motion: translatory motion and circular motion. Okay, translatory motion can be divided into two parts: rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion. And a circular motion can also be divided into two parts: revolution and rotatory motion. Yes. Question number 2. Question number 2 is define translatory motion. Yes, what is translatory motion? the motion in which all points of moving body moves uniformly. Yes, the motion in which all points of a moving body moves uniformly along a straight line is called translatory motion. Yes. Now question number 3, write a short note on history of transportation. Write a short note on history of transport. So uh, in old time people mm, lived in the forest. First of all, they made a wooden wheel which is used to drag anything. Then they made bullock cart using it. Then they discovered boat. Slowly, the people developed and started using the animals. They used horse for traveling. Then the bicycle was first discovered in 1790. Then the car was made in 1862. Then as the people developed, technology developed, and people also made aeroplane in 1903. So in this way the transportation developed continuously, and now we use many things for the moving from one position, one place to another place. I hope you understood, kids. Now we will meet in next class. We will study about the translatory motion and rectilinear motion. Till then, bye bye.